You sit down there only. We're starting the program now. Hare Krishna. All right. So, welcome everyone. We are on Bhagavad Gita, chapter number 16, verse number 16 is where we begin our discussion, if I'm correct. All right. Aneka chitta vibranta moha jala samavratah prasakta kama bhogeshu patanti narake suchau. Thus, perplexed by various anxieties and bound by a network of illusions, they become too strongly attached to sense enjoyment and fall down into hell. Hare Krishna. So a quick recap for all of you, so you get to know what's happening here. Chapter 16, titled as Divine and Demoniac. Lord Shri Krishna says there are two kind of beings, created beings. One has a divine nature, other has demoniac nature. For divine nature, Lord Shri Krishna speak what is a divine nature means in verses 1 to 3. Ahimsa, Archavam, Satyam, Shanti, Apeshanam, Akrodha, etc. 26 qualities are being described, what it means to be a saintly person, a person of divine qualities. And then Lord Shri Krishna began to speak to Arjuna, and he actually tells Arjuna, because Arjuna was on the battlefield, Akrodha, how can he not get angry? Ahimsa, how can I not do violence? So Krishna told Arjuna, but you are born of the divine nature. From birth, you are of divine nature. Don't worry about it. Let me tell you in detail about what are these, what is it? Your demonic qualities. What are these demonic qualities? And that what discussion is going on here. And another point that I made last time, why Krishna is going in details on those demonic qualities, because these are the things which are found in excess today. Does anyone remember what was the point we discussed? Why there is so much discussion on demonic qualities? Hare Krishna.
Failure to surrender to a spiritual master.
Yes, the reason is, what is the verse? The nature of demoniac person is he do not follow authority. He does not follow Vedic scriptures. Text number 4, purport. They do everything whimsically according to their own desire and they do not recognize any authority. So these demonic qualities are mentioned again and again just to remind us, for us to make a transition and change, we need to learn to follow Guru and Gauranga like that. And the example is Duryodhan. We have discussed about Duryodhan case study. So those what is going on here so far in the verses. So text number 16, now translation once again. Thus, perplexed by various anxieties and bound by a network of illusions, they become too strongly attached to sense enjoyment and fall down into. So 2 points which have been mentioned here to pay attention. One is they are too much overcome by anxieties. Sounds familiar? खाने को लेकर एंजाइटी, सोने को लेकर एंजाइटी, प्रोटेक्शन को लेकर, प्रिजर्वेशन को लेकर एंजाइटी, व्हाट नॉट, होम लोन एटसेट्रा एटसेट्रा. अनेक चित्त विभ्रांत मोहजाल समावृतः. मोहजाल समावृतः, what a beautiful thing. Samavrata means covered over. Mohajal is like jala, cobweb, and he's like a fly who is caught into the cobweb of Maya Devi. Just like we call as web, World Wide Web, WWW, right? We were just talking about internet right now. Digital detox, how essential it is to once in a while go for digital detox. So worldwide, Mohajal Samavita, being covered over by this illusion. Prasakta Kama Bhogeshu. Prasakta means attached to what? Our sensual desires. Kama Bhogeshu, I want this, I want this, I want that. Patanti Narake Asachau. और क्या होता है ऐसे व्यक्ति के संग? उसका जो गति है वह नरक की तरफ उसको लेके जाता है, या he glides to a hellish condition of life in this lifetime and in the next lifetime. Very interesting, huh? This I'm not saying, Krishna is saying. One who is caught up into this cobweb or the web of Maya's illusion, one who is chasing after his sensual desires, and one who is full of anxieties. Is this lifetime is hellish? and his next destination, you definitely gonna become a tennis ball in the hands of Yamdutas, and they're gonna play tennis with you, hit you from one court to the another court. Purport. Krishna Chandra Prabhu, let's begin with you. Please read the purport.
Hare Krishna. The demonic man knows no limit to his desire to acquire money. That is unlimited. He thinks only of how much assessment he has just now and schemes to engage that stock of wealth further and further. For that reason, he does not hesitate to act in any sinful way and so deals in the black market for illegal gratification. He is enamored by the possessions he has already, such as land, family, house, and bank balance. And he's always planning to improve them. He believes in his own strength, and he does not know that whatever he is gaining is due to his past good deeds. He is given an opportunity to accumulate such things, but he has no conception of past causes. He simply thinks that all his mass of wealth is due to his own endeavor. A demonic person believes in the strength of his personal work, not in the law of karma. According to the law of karma, a man takes his birth in a high family or becomes rich or very well educated or very beautiful because of his good work in the past. The demonic think that all these things are accidental and due to the strength of one's personal ability. They do not sense any arrangement behind all the varieties of people, beauty, and education. Anyone who comes into competition with such a demonic man is his enemy. There are many demonic people, and each is enemy to the others. The enmity becomes more and more deep between persons, then between families, then between societies, and at last between nations. Therefore, there is constant strife, war, and enmity all over the world. Each demonic person thinks that he can live at the sacrifice of all others. Generally, a demonic person thinks of himself as the supreme God, and a demonic preacher tells his followers, "Why are you seeking God elsewhere? You're all yourselves God. Whatever you like, you can do. Don't believe in God. Throw away God. God is dead." These are the demonic preachings.
Sounds familiar? So many so-called gurus, they also speak in the same way. There is no God, you're God, I am God. Or this whole concept of God is a fictitious concept created by our ancestors just to keep us trapped to some ideologies. And they are very popular gurus these days. In case if you heard such gurus, you know what I'm talking about. It is online, so I better not take the names. Okay, continue with the next paragraph.
Although the demonic person sees others equally rich and influential, or even more so, he thinks that no one is richer than he, and that no one is more influential than he. As far as promotion to the higher planetary system is concerned, he does not believe in performing yajnas or sacrifices. Demons think that they will manufacture their own process of yajna and prepare some machine by which they will be able to reach any higher planet. The best example of such a demonic man was Ravana. He offered a program to the people by which he would prepare a staircase so that anyone could reach the heavenly planets without performing sacrifices, and such as are prescribed in the Vedas. Similarly, in the present age, such demonic men are striving to reach the higher planetary systems by mechanical arrangements. These are examples of bewilderment. The result is that without their knowledge, they are gliding towards hell. Here, the Sanskrit word moha jala is very significant. Jala means net, like fish caught in a net. They have no way to come out. Hare Krishna.
Wow, what a fantastic purpose. Mohajal. So, how many of you think you're in Mohajal? Mohajal Samavrata, fully covered over in the cobweb of Maya Devi. How many of you are able to identify that? Anyone here? Okay, let me put it this way. How many of you think your room partner or your neighbor or your manager is Maya Jala Samavrata. It's fully covered over. Online fellows don't mind. I have some guests over here, so I'm kind of addressing for all of them. Okay. All right, let's go to the 17th verse. आत्मसंभाविता स्तब्धा धनमानामदान्वितः यजन्तेनाम यज्ञस्ते दम्भेनाविधिपूर्वकम्. Fantastic verses. Atma Sambhavitaha, self-complacent. Not taking things seriously, which are worthy of taking seriously. Complacent. Stabdha, impudent. What does impudent means? Anyone knows? Impudent, impudence, arrogance, harshness. Dhana, mana, madanvitaha. Dhan means wealth, man means possession or false prestige, not possession, sorry, prestige. Mada means, Madan, not my name, by the way. I'm talking about the Cupid, Madan. So that means who illusions, puts others in illusion. So Mada means, or Mada means illusion. Mada, Dhana, Man, Mada, Anvitaha. So जो धन और false prestige के क्या कहते हैं, who are intoxicated, who are bewildered by it, who are too much attached to this concept. यजन्ते नाम यज्ञस्ते, यजन्ते मतलब करते हैं, they do perform yajna, but कैसे? नाम यज्ञ से, not नाम यज्ञ means not हरि नाम यज्ञ. यजन्ते नाम यज्ञ से केवल नाम के वास्ते यज्ञ करते हैं, वो हरि कीर्तन वाला नाम यज्ञ नहीं करते, only formality वाला. But you can take out the screen, not needed. यजन्ते नाम यज्ञस्ते, केवल नाम के वास्ते यज्ञ करते हैं. दम्भेना, और उसमें भी उनको बहुत अहंकार आता है, देखो मैं कितना महान हूं, कितना विशेष में. Avidhi पूर्वकम. This is repeated in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says few times. विधि पूर्वकम मतलब विधि के अनुसार करना. विधि के अनुसार मतलब क्या? For example, if you go to the lab and you do an experiment according to the lab manual, that is called as विधि पूर्वकम. What is अविधि पूर्वकम? तुमने हाथ पैर मारा, कहीं से किसी भी केमिकल उठा के मिक्स कर दिया. That is अविधि पूर्वकम. So when it is said vidhi purvakam by Krishna to do things, to do yajna vidhi purvakam, anyone like to explain what does it mean? How can we do vidhi purvakam? What does it mean? Or who can do vidhi purvakam? Anyone online? What does it mean vidhi purvakam? Yes, Mother Sangeeta, go ahead. Unmute.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी. विधि पूर्वकम मतलब कोई भी काम सिस्टमेटिकली करना, जो स्टेप बाय स्टेप दिया गया है उस सिस्टम को फॉलो करना.
कहाँ दिया गया है? अभी तो हम धर्म की बात कर रहे हैं ना, यज्ञ की. तो कहाँ दिया गया है?
कोई भी चीज, कोई भी कार्य जो होता है उसका एक स्टेप बाय स्टेप फॉलो करना होता है, उसी स्टेप से फॉलो करना होता है, वो चलता आया है प्रभु जी.
करेक्ट. दैट इज विधि पूर्वकम. आई एम पर्टिकुलरली फोकसिंग ऑन यजन्ते यज्ञस. यज्ञ करना है विधि पूर्वकम. दैट इज व्हाट कृष्ण इज सेइंग ना. बट ये कृष्ण कह रहे हैं यजन्ते नाम यज्ञ से, नाम का यज्ञ करते हैं वो, और कैसे करते हैं? अविधि पूर्वकम. दे डोंट नो हाउ टू सेलिब्रेट गणेश चतुर्थी. अविधि पूर्वकम, राइट? Sounds familiar?
Yes.
So how do you figure it out how to celebrate Ganesh Chaturthi? That's a question here. How can it be vidhi purvakam? How would it happen?
According to Vedic culture.
According to Vedic culture. So long story short, nor your mother, father can teach you, not anyone. Unless somebody, for example, this coming Saturday we are celebrating Ramayana. So my theme of this whole Ramayana that we're going to have a conversation about, many people think that they know Ramayana. Nobody knows Ramayana. That is what I'm going to hammer audience on this time. हमें राम पता है, हमें पता है. यूपी में जाओ तो सब बोलते हैं हमें सीताराम लक्ष्मण पता है. कुछ नहीं पता, अनपढ़ लोग हैं. और टीवी में रामायण सीरियल देख के उनको पता है कि उनको लगता है रामायण आती है. We'll check your knowledge on Ramayana, IQ, right? Intellectual question we'll check during this Saturday evening conversation. I'm going to throw up challenges to the audience, answer my questions. So Shikhar will answer me question. And I'm going to answer a question. I'm ready with my set of questions to all the audience. Bata to Ram ka gyan kitna hai, pata chalega. So anyway, so my main point is, so how do we get to know about it? When we either have studied scriptures by ourselves, there has to be a book of knowledge. Just like you have a manual to tell you how the particular experiment has to be done. Similarly, there has to be a book of knowledge from which we understand, or else we have a person like a lab technician who tells you what to do. Similarly, there has to be somebody who tells us how to perform yajna. And just like lab technician is certified, similarly that pandit should be certified. Not that you go to any temple, wo pandit ji ke dress mein baitha to pandit ho gaya. This is just basic premises to understand that. Fine. Self-complacent, always impudent, deluded by wealth and false pretenses. They sometimes proudly perform sacrifice in name only without following any rules or regulations. Okay, online audience, anyone like to read? Please raise your hand and we can start with it. So, okay. Sorry, I missed seeing your screen sharing happen. How do I see audience? Okay, Mother Sadhya Ulasni, go ahead. I see your hand up.
Yes.
Boliye.
But thinking themselves all in all, not caring for any authority or scripture, the demonic sometimes perform so-called religious or sacrificial rites. And since they do not believe in authority, they are very impudent. This is due to illusion caused by accumulating some wealth and false prestige.
Fantastic, Prabhupada. I mean, this is something which we'll discuss in detail in our Bhakti Shastri, but what profound thing, isn't it? I have asked this question in the past also. I'll raise this question again also now. Imagine you are somewhere around 45 years of age and you are a project manager in your company. You're earning 50 lakhs or 60 lakhs annually now, which is more than 4 lakh per month. You're married, you have 2-3 kids, they're going to school, family life seems to be stable. You have paid off your home loan and you have, let's say, Honda City as a car, good car, big car. So a little bit of prestige also has come from there. You have a nice 3 BHK in a luxury society and loans have been paid off, kids are doing well, family life is stable, and as a professional, you're already a project manager. Now in this situation, if in case you come across a situation where you are struggling to make a decision, put yourself into the shoes of this individual now. How many of you just think it will be difficult for me now, I'm a successful person, to take advice? I've got wealth, I've got prestige, everything. How many of you agree it will be difficult for me to take an advice? Raise your hands. Now, this is where I feel people are really foolish. People really miss out on some fundamental points. What I meant to say here is, see, if it is about taking decision or making decision about your professional life, about the field in which you're working, then it's okay because you are pro in that. But you ain't pro in the subject matter of spiritual life. You ain't pro in the subject matter of life, how life have to be lived. So shouldn't we take some senior advice in that? How old ever you become, you're still learning. There's still something to learn. So this thought process that I don't know why we have got into, I would probably give all the blame to the Britishers for inserting this mindset into us that I don't need anyone's advice. Arjuna was 89-year-old. He was the world's most successful individual. The highly renowned for his sense control because he had said no to Urvashi. He was known in the whole creation to be the most powerful person because he fought on behalf of the Indradev to defeat the demons who Indradev could not defeat. He was the only person known by that time among the 5 Pandavas who went to heaven in the same body. Yudhishthira Maharaj went later on. He had such a great accomplishments by his name. He had a face-off, he had a combat, one-on-one combat with Lord Shiva, who anyone didn't had it. And had it, they never survived to talk about the story later on. He very much survived. You imagine the amount of accomplishments he had. Think about Yudhishthira Maharaj, Dharmaraj. One thing, if not, you want to learn from these characters is they always took the opportunity to seek guidance. And that Arjuna, to whom Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita, and Arjuna Krishna had a very friendly relationship. Yet Arjuna decided to ask his friend, what should I do in my life? And he had a young engineer, graduate from the college. He thinks, मेरे को तो किसी की जरूरत ही नहीं है. मैं तो सब जानता हूँ. मुझे पता है अपने जीवन में क्या करना है. You know. Now you can understand what kind of person he would be. All right. Sometimes such demons take up the role of preacher. Please continue.
Sometimes demons take up the role of preacher, mislead the people and become known as religious reformers or as incarnations of God. They make a show of performing sacrifices, or they worship the demigods or manufacture their own God. Common men advertise them as God and worship them, and by the foolish they are considered advanced in the principles of religion or in the principles of spiritual knowledge. They take the renounced order of life and engage in all nonsense in that dress. Actually, there are so many restrictions for one who has renounced this world. The demons, however, do not care for such restrictions. They think that whatever path one can create is one's own path. There is no such thing as a standard path one has to follow. The word avidhi purvakam, meaning a disregard for the rules and regulations, is specially stressed here. These things are always due to ignorance and illusion.
So another thing is, such people, demonic people, some of them make a show of performing sacrifice, they worship devtas or manufacture their own god. So let's have some discussion today. How many of you kind of would agree with this statement of Prabhupada that, for example, they make a show of performing sacrifices, or they worship devtas or manufacture their own god? All these festivals which are largely organized in societies, let's have a frank discussion. I would think that has got nothing to do with that devata. It is their own agenda to be fulfilled, or something they want to do it, or to gratify one's own ego. Because I deal a lot with the society, I must have had some fantastic karma in my last life. Despite joining Brahmachari ashram, I never get to live in ashram only. I'm moving from one society to another society. So I deal with the society people a lot. So how many of you, those who live in the societies, who kind of acknowledge this and see this? Actually, even let's say Ganesh Chaturthi, Navaratri, where is Ganeshji, where is Devi? How many songs of glorification of these personalities are sung? Take off anything, Ram Navami, कुछ भी होता है वहाँ पे, the first thing that happens is, बच्चों का performance, lady का dance, और सब, rock music, pop music, Hollywood music, Bollywood music. Yes or no? How many have seen this? Is that a fact? Agreed upon? That's what it is. They make a show of performing sacrifices. And I have met such people, cultural heads of different society, and they think, हमसे बड़ा कोई religious है ही नहीं. साल में हम सारे त्योहार मनाते हैं. They're so proud of it. Okay, now the common men advertise themselves as God and worship them, and by the foolish they consider advanced in the principle of religion, prophetic. Now they take the dress of a renounced order of life and engage in all nonsense in that dress. There are so many, people in this world today who take the dress of a renounced order, which means not only renounced order in our Hindu dharma, but let's say Christianity and Islam. Almost every other day you read about such and such mullah in his mosque did that abuse. Such and such padri did an abuse to so and so in the church. And of course, you also get to know of the news, such and such sadhu did an abuse in the ashram. Yes or no? So, one thing, it is never ever about a dress. Please understand. It is never ever about a dress. It is about the consciousness. Unfortunately, in our lack of knowledge, we go a lot. How many of you agree? We relate with individuals a lot according to their position in the society. Somebody is announced as the bishop of the church, or somebody has announced the ashram head. There is so and so Babaji's ashram, and he's the head. Let's say you visit that place and somebody introduces you. Oh, you're so fortunate that you're getting to meet the head of the ashram. Suddenly you think, oh, head of the ashram, matlab, all pure, right? It ain't works like this. ये padri है, ये bishop है, ये mullah है. It doesn't work like this. That's what his Prabhupada is speaking about it, and that's what the demonic, how they cheat people by taking out those dress, and they cheat the innocent, gullible people out of their innocence. So we should be intelligent enough to understand these points. Text number 18 now. Ahankaram balam darpam kamam krodam cha samshita माम आत्मा परदेहेषु प्रदश्विषन्तो अभ्यसूयुक्ताः. Ahankaram, false ego. Balam, strength. Darpan is pride. Darpam. Kamam, lust. Krodha, anger. Cha samashritaha. Sama ashritaha, not shrita, sorry. Sama ashritaha. So this rascal have taken shelter of what? His false ego. Balam, his strength. Darpam, ahankar, pride, not ahankar, actually pride. Kamam, lust, and krodham, anger. कोई उदाहरण आपके नाम दिमाग में आता है इस चीज को सुन के? Any example comes to your mind? Quickly, when you read this, who represents this personality? Any example come to your mind?
Ravan,
Ravan. Okay, quick answers. Duryodhan comes, huh? Hiranyakshipu. Okay, let's just ancient history, and then anyone from modern history, huh? अच्छा जगह बताइए. Okay, 500 years only. Let's come to the recent history then.
Hitler,
Okay. Somebody said Rahul Gandhi. Yeah, I'm not taking any political sides. Huh? So you said, I guess I heard it. Maybe I overheard it. Or maybe there was a sound in the ether. Devta speak. Anyway, I'm joking. See, for us to Suyakhaha, Pradavishantaha, blaspheming, and becomes envious. So what it is? Translation: bewildered by false ego, strength, pride, lust, and anger, the demons become envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated in their own bodies and in the bodies of others, and blaspheme against the real religion. So, who represents this? I'll ask this question again. Who comes to your mind when you read this? Who comes to your mind from the recent history? Hare Krishna. This is no other than you and I. This is our story. Look at it. This shows darpan to our darpan. How many could relate to it? I mean, I'm not talking about practicing devotees. I'm not addressing any practicing devotee, but I'm just speaking about if it was not to spiritual culture, how many of you agree this is what verse is about us? Yes or no? Raise your hand. That is the first step of self-discovery to understand where we are. Have you seen people outside? Have you ever seen? यहाँ पे तो नहीं, मैंने नॉर्थ में बहुत देखा है, दिल्ली यूपी में होता था. लड़के सड़क पे चलते थे. Maybe girls also, and they walk ऐसे जैसे उनके बाप की रोड हो, और बीच में चलेंगे, और पीछे से गाड़ी लेकर कोई आ रहा हो, हॉन्क मार रहा है, तो ऐसे गुस्से से देखते थे. वो कौन अपना कालीवन का वध करवाया था भगवान ने, जिसके हाथों मुचुकुंदा. They look back as like Muchukunda, they'll burn you to ashes. How many of you have seen like this? And so they're willing to fight for anything. This is what it means. Ahankaram balam darpam. False ego, balam is strength. मैं वो WWE देख के ना वो पतला सीखिया भी सोचता है मैं योकोजुना हूँ, मैं अंडरटेकर हूँ, किसी पे अटैक कर दूंगा. In case you have seen the wrestling matches, वो मैच देख देख के ऐसा लगता है कोई मुझसे लड़ेगा तो मैं भी ऐसा करूंगा, स्लैम शॉट मारूंगा. those wrestling terminologies. Kamam krodham cha samashitaha, lust and anger. See, wherever Krishna mentions kamam, you see by default krodh is there. Therefore, in the third chapter, I said, पे? Small, small things also agreed upon. This is what it is. Therefore, I said this is the verse about us. If it ain't because of spiritual culture, this is what our situation would be. Let's take a look at the purports. We'll make this as the last purport for today. Okay, Mother Yogi, your hand is up. Go ahead and read it.
Pranam Prabhuji. Text 19.
18.
Sorry, 18. A demoniac person, being always against God's supremacy, does not like to believe in the scriptures. He is envious of both the scriptures and the existence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is caused by his so-called prestige and his accumulation of wealth and strength. He does not know that the present life is a preparation for the next life. Not knowing this, he is actually envious of his own self as well as of others. He commits violence on other bodies and on his own. He does not care for the supreme control of the personality of Godhead because he has no knowledge. Being envious of the scriptures and the supreme personality of Godhead, he puts forward false arguments against the existence of God and denies the scriptural authority. He thinks himself independent and powerful in every action. He thinks that since no one can equal him in strength, power, or wealth, he can act in any way or no one can stop him. If he has an enemy who might check the advancement of his sensual activities, he makes plans to cut him down by his own power.
How many of you would agree that people outside have a very strong revengeful attitude? हल्का सा भी कुछ होता है तो they keep on thinking ऐसा बदला लूंगा मैं ये कर दूंगा मैं वो कर दूंगा. Agree? This is what Krishna is Prabhupada is saying. If he has an enemy who might check the advancement of his sensual activity, he makes plans to cut him down by his own power. And how many times we do a murder in our mind? Yes or no? हल्का सा भी किसी के साथ कुछ पंगा हो जाता है, कितना खून खराबा करके आए हम अपने मन में. इसलिए thank God we don't get any karma for what we think. We would have got burnt alive because of sinful karmic reactions. Just so, I'm talking to the youth today. I mean, those of you adults may or may not relate to it necessarily. I don't know about you, but how violent our minds have become. Yes or no? कोई हल्का सा भी हमें हमारी फौसिकों को हल्का सा भी टच कर दे. We have really like a venomous snake today. There is a shloka by Charaka Pandit. He says there are different kind of poisonous creatures. There is a snake and there are scorpions, but among them, the most poisonous and venomous snake is a human being. He doesn't have fangs, but he has poison all over his body. He can harm you in n number of ways. It's so dangerous like that. Snake does not kill his own species. A human being is only species which kills his own species. देखा है? कुत्ते एक दूसरे भौंक लेते हैं, मारते तो नहीं है, बम तो नहीं फोड़ते. There is only human species which is killing the human species, isn't it? Yeah, this is how dangerous it is. Fine. Text number 19 will conclude here. We're not going to read, but just to conclude the discussion, ऐसे लोगों की गति क्या होती है? Krishna says, तानहम द्विशतः क्रूरान् संसारेषु नराधमान् Shipami Ajasaram Shubhan Ashureshu Eva Yonishu. So every youth who graduates from college life, he thinks I'm gonna become next Bill Gates, as Jeff Bezos or whatnot. Whatever, we have big dreams. Everything success of life is to accomplish those dreams. Acknowledge, agreed. But while doing and trying to accomplish those dreams and those lustful desires, we end up acting like what we have discussed in 7. Lowest among men, I, Krishna says, I perpetually tan aham dvishataha kruran. What I do for the envious and mischievous people, I cast them into the ocean of material existence, into various demonic species of life. Friday morning we have a women chapati. and our host, our devotee who was hosting us, has a house in a very interesting place, Malabar Hills, right? That is Malabar Hills, something like that. Something like that. His house was there. On his left, his neighbor was Cyrus Mystery, left hand side. Right hand side, his neighbor was what? Birla and Godrej, on the right hand side. And right opposite to him was, no, जो tower थी, मेहुल चौस्की. Right outside his window, the सामने वाला जो अपार्टमेंट था वो मेहुल चौस्की का और ट्रिपलेक्स था, और उसके पीछे huge like a 5-star grand accommodation was of Junjunwala, some Junjun, उस fellow का था, हाँ, Rakesh Junjunwala, like that. So that day morning, Krishnanand Prabhu was giving a class and he was making a point. It was on first canto 7 chapter, I believe, or something about Kali Yuga. He was making a point that, the life is so uncertain. And if we are attached in this world, we don't know. No, he was not talking about that. He was talking, we don't know what we were in past life. Maybe we could be a king in the past life, or we could be a cockroach in the commode. So when he was giving us a tour of his neighbors, surrounded like this, people like this, they showed me, he said, Prabhu, do you see that's Junjunwala's huge mansion? And just sometime I got to know that, or maybe he was telling me, and I also had read about him, that he built a house which was for thousands of crore, like that. For he to get that property and break that property, just to make land available for construction, he spent 400 crores. 400 रुपये नहीं कह रहा मैं, झाड़ू पोछा नहीं लगवाया उस प्रॉपर्टी पे झाड़ू पोछा लगवाने के लिए उसको 400 करोड़ खर्च करने पड़े, बाद में कंस्ट्रक्शन करी है. Another incredible piece of work. Anyways, so that fellow spent all his good amount of money to build that mansion, a fantastic house. I mean, really looked attractive, fantastic piece of work. And that person could not stay in that house even for one day. Even for a one day. He died before the house was ready. So I was telling this fellow, our host, I said, my goodness, imagine where this guy would have gone. And I was quoting Krishnanand Prabhu's example. Probably he would have become a cockroach in that commode in that house. I mean, hey, my video is off? Oh, okay, no problem. So anyway, there was a point, I just got distracted with some comments came here. What were we talking about? No, what was the point actually? Cockroach and commode was not the subject matter discussion. Oh yeah, we're talking the 19th verse here. If it is not, see, what's our destination? You may be that, you may be that the top 3 richest person in the world. Junjunwala's wealth is around 50,000 crore. Then the devotee began to talk to him about his life. Every month, his wife makes 650 crores. उसका monthly package है यहाँ 650 crore. Even if you have done all this, where are you next? Krishna says 19th verse of 16th chapter. Kaha, I cast such people. I'm not saying Junjunwala casted there. I don't know about his personal life. I'm just saying, I cast such people who have been described in the previous verses into the ocean of material existence and into various demonic species of life, which means what? Lower species of life. You did everything. Now imagine to become like Junjunwala or anyone. All respect to that departed soul. Again, I'm not making an individual comment, but I'm just using his case study or example as a case study. Even if you have become like him, so rich, do you think becoming like him was an easy journey? How much struggle you would have made? And after getting the wealth, how much another set of struggle you have to make to preserve the wealth and preserve your status? Yes or no? And while doing all this struggle, before the time came for you to enjoy the mansion that you built with so much struggle, you died. What did you gain? And then you become a cockroach in the commode. What did you really gain? So there is no alternative, but to really cultivate spiritual culture, to protect our present, and to create a fantastic future for ourselves and for our loved ones. With that, we'll pause here for today. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki. Tomorrow we'll read 19 onwards, like that. So guys, those who are online, please, Bhaktas, kindly bear with me. I would be speaking because I have our group here So I just don't want to read for them, and I want them to also understand. So I would be speaking something. So for this week, I didn't want to cancel my class because I thought if I cancel this, will be a yogi program. So I thought rather I continue, but I would be making it as a class format now rather than reading only. So it's up to you to be part of it or not, but that's what format I'll follow rather than canceling. Okay. So which means our this whole week will go in the 4 verses that we have in 16th chapter, more or less. Want to make it relatable to our audience who are sitting here, and maybe just a little bit start with the 17th chapter. Hare Krishna. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki. Thank you, everyone. Okay, so we're gonna start on Mangala.